CJ Peterson, and welcome to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. Today, my guest is DC Glenn, and his passion is learning to learn. So thank you for coming on today, DC.
Hey, good to be here. Before we get started,
Yes, sir.
gotta get one thing off my chest real quick. Here we
Uh-oh.
go. Sprinkles. I had to do that. I'm sorry.
No, you got to do the line.
Yeah. Gotta get exactly. I'm ready now.
Do the line. Come on, I need to hear the scoop. There it is. Come on.
French vanilla, Rocky Road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop. There it is.
There you go. Gotta love it. Awesome. Well, as we're diving into your passion, learning to learn. I understand the theory behind it because we were together on another podcast that I do called The Con Hour. And so I love the premise behind it. Would you explain to those who are listening what the philosophy is of that, what that means?
I think where people get stuck when they want to do something else is they're used to just learning the traditional way that they've always learned, right? And sometimes it'll show itself in the form of, well, I don't know where to start. And it's like, nah, not that you don't know where to start. You have to learn how to learn, right? Like it's not enough to read a book, go to a seminar, listen to a podcast. You have to actually learn how to get the most value out of those entities, right? And like for me, perfect example, if I get a long email and I have to read it, I'm daydreaming by the second sentence. I just am. And, I dump it into AI, which is a text to speech software, and I've got human voices. So it reads it back to me. And now I'm doing my other thing. And then I hear something important and it catches me. Now I'm looking at it, reading along with it while it's reading to me. And now me and my computer friend are both learning this thing, and I retain more information. Right. And it has worked brilliantly for me because every time I get a script, when as an actor, I don't even look at it. I just dump it in the AI and it reads the script to me in about four
That's
passes.
brilliant.
I know exactly.
I've always wondered how actors actually deal with an entire script, because I mean, I did drama, but that was like maybe 3 pages long at the max. But a whole script for like a movie or whatnot is like,
Oh
how
yeah.
do you
I
deal
throw
with
it.
that?
Hey, I will throw it in the AI and I will let it read to me 3-4 times. Right. Then I know once you know once you know what the entire scene is and what it's about, and you know the story, now you get to play. It's not even about memorizing the words. It's
Right.
about understanding what the heck you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's learning how to learn. That's something I struggled with at the beginning of acting because I thought it was this memorization contest. Right. So it's like I'm acting like a robot because I'm trying to memorize the lines, and then I'm beating myself up because I don't memorize the lines and I don't even know what the story is about, so I'm not believable. That's
Yeah.
bad acting.
Yeah.
But once you start understanding what acting really is, which is being your true self, and all the things and all the lessons that I have embarked upon in my life now come into the fold, and I've gotten better. And, it helps me to do a lot of podcasts and interviews because it's storytelling, right? And that's the key to it all. So for me, I just got back from the gym, and a friend of mine, she wants to start a laundry business, right? And she was just studying, like, I don't know where to start. And, I've been helping her out. And I was like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Right.
What do you want it to look like?
Yeah. What do you want it to look like? And she's like, I want a laundromat. I was like, yeah, but I don't see a laundromat for you because a laundromat entails you got to be around the public and you want a brick and mortar. And you know what I mean? Like, that's too much. Maybe you might think about doing a, industrial laundry uh, facility. Then you could start with one machine, get one account, and go from there. Put together a business plan. Like, there's so many other phases before you even get into the point where you can open a business like that.
Right.
So that's why one of the things that I do for a lot of my friends, just for people that I consult, because I don't consult for money, but I just tell people, I give them myself. I tell people what I do.
Mhm.
And what I'll do is join an organization. Yeah, organizations are filled with people who have been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And they
Definitely
have
will.
expertise and they are ready to vomit everything to you. Right? They will talk your
It's
head off.
true though.
They will talk your head out. And the organization has the resources,
Mhm.
right? They have every resource that can help you be successful. It's
If
not they can
not,
help
they
you.
know somebody who does.
There's somebody who does. They can connect you with somebody who does. And there's always 4 or 5 different associations, societies, or uh just organizations. So that's what I do. I have been looking at temp organizations,
Really?
right? Yeah, because I told you I've been looking for writers.
Uh-huh.
And I found a writer who is she's working at a temp organization,
Oh,
but she
really?
writes.
Cool.
And a friend of mine hooked me up with her. Now I got a writer and she's making money doing the temp thing and writing for me. And I'm like, you doing the wrong thing, right?
Mhm.
But that's what you have to do sometimes because you get a whole new perspective on things.
Mhm.
If you want to know about something you're trying to do, don't sit there and guesstimate and dream about it. Join an organization.
Mhm.
You could go to seminars and all that, but usually people are trying to sell you something, and that thing that they're trying to sell you is probably out of date because things are moving at the speed of light.
Mhm.
And if you're in an organization, there's always somebody that's going to be on there every week that is in the trenches
Mhm.
that is going to answer all your questions.
Yeah. And you are a mover and a shaker. You've got your finger in so many different pies. Can you kind of share? I know you cringe at the whole journey aspect, but the journey is real is about the journey. Can you kind of share your journey because it starts to touch into the different areas that you've got your fingers in right now?
What really started everything was live your life like a corporation,
Mhm.
right? If you don't have the guts to start a business, well, run your life like a corporation.
Mhm.
Pretend your life is the business.
Right.
What do I do? Better do something. You got a business to run, right? So for me, it's just getting engaged. Well, what is it? What would I do if I started a business? Well, you got to have an accountant, you got to have tax people, you got to have a business plan, you got to have, you got to understand how you're going to get money, you got to understand what your overhead's going to be. You got to understand so many things. You might as well start learning it. It's almost like paper trading
Mhm.
when you're a trader in commodities, because I was a licensed commodities broker because I said that I would not let anybody take advantage of me money wise ever again, and I wanted to learn finance. So what better way to learn finance is to get into a situation where you can learn a new trade, but at the same time you can learn finance, you can learn how money works.
Mhm.
Like everything I do has 3 or 4 different outcomes that are valuable,
Right.
right? And that's what I did, and then I became licensed commodity broker. I knew how hedge funds worked. I end up, figuring out that it wasn't for me, but I knew about money and investing. Now I could do it the way that a lot of people do it, the slow and easy way, where you just have money pulled out of your accounts and they fill little bitty buckets, and those little bitty buckets grow, and now
Mhm.
you got an orchard of money. And you'd be surprised what you can do in 3 4 years, but people can't see that far ahead. And if you can't see that far ahead, you're in trouble because that's what it's going to take. You
Mhm.
can't. There is no, like I said, there's no quid pro quo. You
Well,
don't.
and there's really no straight up because if you go straight up, you're gonna hit down just as hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even. It's not even true,
Mhm.
right? For me, you know, I have learned to love the hard work.
Mhm.
I have learned to love everything that I do. Like this week has been such a monumental breakthrough for me. Actually, the last month, because I have been trying to learn how to code for 15 years,
Mhm.
and now I know how to code. And I have been coding nonstop 24 hours a day for the last 2 weeks. And I'm almost finished with 2 sites that are going to be juggernauts, and I can get anything I want now because I know how to get in front of the people that I need to get in front of on the internet because that is the new real estate. And if you can stake your claim there and be good at it, the world's yours.
Mhm.
It's that simple. And my mentors are people who they live vicariously through me because I am who I am, but because I don't see myself that way.
Right.
But they love that I'm doing this, right? Because I the way I am already, once I learn it, then I'm gonna take what I've learned and I'm putting the hustle to it. When I
Hmm.
put the hustle to it, I put the creativity to it.
Hmm.
When I put the creativity to it, it becomes a whole nother entity where
Well,
people
and
people that taught me didn't even see it.
yeah, and the beauty is you're seeing it from your perspective and what you've been through and how you function.
Mhm,
Everybody does that their own way, but it's kind of like when somebody presents me with something, I take it as a challenge. I'm like,
mhm,
okay, how do you make this work?
yep,
And then you just show me how they make it work. I'm like, okay, well, I like that aspect. I like that aspect. Don't like that aspect. Really hate that one. So I'm going to pick up this part and I'll put them together and I'll see what happens. It's like our apiary. We have 5 acres on the farm. And so
mhm,
we did some research. We didn't jump in completely blind. We joined an association. We have a mentor, one who's been doing it for 50 years. We have
exactly.
2 other friends. Both of those are commercial. One's a massive commercial. One's a little bit smaller commercial. And so if we have issues, we can kind of check in with them and see, hey, how does this work? It's like, hey, B 911. And so we've learned the hard way, but to me, that's the better way to learn because if everything was easy, you're not really learning.
It's all hard. Like it kills me that people look at me and say, "Man, but you're doing it because you who you are." I was like, that makes it even harder. Because
Mhm,
I don't want nobody to know who I am,
mhm.
right? So therefore I have to show and prove to even be able to for people to take me seriously,
Well,
right?
and they only see you one way. They see you
Only
as
thing- Yeah,
DC from Tag Team, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's not who
And it's
you are.
yeah,
No.
and it's true. But here's the thing: I have been in the game long enough to understand that that's not how you get it.
Mhm,
You can get meetings that way, and you can get into the room that way,
mhm,
and there are opportunities that come to you that way. But if you can't do the work,
mhm,
it don't matter because you're dealing with professional people. Like that's why I love doing interviews and podcasts because you never know who you're going to meet.
mhm,
Right? I do them from the smallest to the biggest. Doesn't matter
mhm,
because just like I met you, good people, and
mhm,
what has come of it.
mhm.
And I
Quick push or promo or whatever it is there. What's come of it is he's going to be coming to Comic Con or Comic Conroe in Conroe, Texas, about a week after this sucker airs. So if you're in the
yeah,
Conroe area, come on down, say hi. I'll be there. I'll be wearing 3 different hats. I'll be doing cosplay, author, and the con hour. So, okay, quick promos
uh,
over.
all right. But I just love doing what I do. Like I can't it
I love the people. I love meeting different types of people.
yeah.
I have the con hour, so I meet like tons of fascinating con related type people
Mhm.
or artist type people, and
Mhm.
they just fascinate me. I love creative
Yeah.
people and creativity. The journey is real is a different type of people that I get to know. I get
Mhm.
to know them on a different level than I do with the con hour.
Mhm.
And so also being an author, the different people that I meet at the book shows and the comic cons, it's like I just love people. I
Yeah.
love meeting them and getting to know them and finding out what they like, what they don't like. And hey, if you don't like my book, tell me what it is that you don't like about it constructively, and we'll talk.
Yeah. Hey, I can take it. It's all good. And
Exactly.
that's why I've been a DJ for 30 years. You know what I mean? I love people.
Mhm.
I love to drive the bus.
They're
And
fascinating. I love people are
last
fascinating.
Sunday, I'm in an arena, with in the middle of 20,000 people just screaming on me because we performed at the Western Conference Finals and usually we perform on the court,
Mhm.
but because of COVID, we had to perform in the crowd. So
Ooh.
can you imagine being in the arena in the crowd in a little bitty hole, little bitty stage in the middle of everything where everybody's
Wow.
just got their cameras out, just 1,000 cameras in your face.
You probably went blind with all the
But
reflections.
it was so energy filled and it was such a good performance. I was very, very happy. And every performance we do just brings something different. If it's
Mhm.
8 people, those are the funnest shows because I'm a professional. I will get the lay of the land, understand what I need to do, and then do it because
Mhm.
that's what has to be done.
Exactly.
And if you everything else, I try not to I don't get emotional over
Mhm.
things because that just
Mhm.
takes your energy away, and it clouds your judgment, clouds your mind. You gotta always have an open mind to see the silver lining in things, to be able
Right.
to guide you. Those silver linings are things that guide you through to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level. So people ask me, well, what's next for you? I have no idea because I'm preparing so well for everything that there's no telling what comes my way.
Mhm.
Something might come out of left field, some comes out of right field. Just have to
You
be
just have to be
prepared.
ready for the opportunity. If the
Exactly.
opportunity is there, you gotta grab it and run and go.
Exactly. And it's amazing to me because of the reason I'm learning how to code is because I want to be a better marketer, right?
Mhm.
And now this has turned into another company because I know that I could get a gazillion dollars for doing this because I've looked at a million websites and they don't have what I know that I can do for them
Mhm.
to help them. And that's what it's all about. But I don't know if I would want to do that like that because it requires a lot. And like I said, I love traveling. I love doing what I want to do. So if I don't want to do something, I won't do it.
Right.
Right now, I'm in negotiation to do it's like a celebrity survivor on CBS.
Oh, I wanna watch it.
And I want it so bad because they're like, well, you're going to be rappelling from mountains and jumping out of air. I was like, I don't even care. I said, the fact that I can go on national television on a TV show
Mhm.
and spread motivation and help people
Mhm.
just through my actions and what I've learned and what I know how to do. That is what's going to set me apart, right? I'm always going to be positive. I'm always going to, I know what I can do
Well,
with
and
with who I am,
yeah,
right? So,
and knowing you from what we've talked, it's like I can imagine you going on if it was something like The Amazing Race or something. I can imagine
mhm.
you going, okay, it's this way. This is how you do it because I'm sitting here watching this and this is how it connects to here, and this is how I could see you doing that.
Yeah,
You would kill
I'm gonna
it.
figure it out. I'm gonna
You
figure it
would.
out. If we're hungry, we're gonna eat.
Hmm.
If we gotta if there's an obstacle, okay, let's figure this out.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go.
No
Like,
stress. Just figure it out.
yeah, it's not, and it's not one of those. The beauty is that it's not one of those messy reality shows. It's more of because it's all for charity, right?
Hmm.
So it's gonna be one of those, and it'll be like kayaking, just fun things. Fun things that can be a little hectic, right? But you know, it's gonna be. I hope that I'm pitched the right way, and I hope that it comes because I know that I will do well.
Hmm.
And these are all stepping stones to bigger things,
Hmm.
right? I love to act. I got 3 auditions I got to do tonight, and I know them all, and I can't wait to do them, and it's fun for me. I don't care if I get it or not. I just love to audition because I know that I gotta do 1,000 auditions to get to it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? If I gotta
You
do
have like a
1,000.
realistic view of the world,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I gotta do
yeah.
1,000 auditions to get to it, then every audition is me closer. So give me 5, give me 10, give me
Mhm.
20, right? Just keep them coming because
So
I'm gonna get better.
when we talk about the learning to learn, you have this insane drive behind you. Where does that come from?
Comes from just knocking over boulders, right? Like
Right, but where
all you
did
gotta
it
do is
start?
accomplish
I mean,
one thing.
there's a lot of people who, and I say people in general, but there's a lot of people who kind of wait for it to come to them,
Mm-mm,
or they know how
mm-mm.
to do their one thing and they're staying in their lane. But you don't. You look at the whole thing and like, okay, this lane isn't working for me, or this did work for me, but I want more, so I'm going to go over to this lane, and then I'm going to go back over to this lane, and then I'm going to head forward on this lane. Where did that come from?
Streets teach you that. Like for me being in the clubs, right?
Mhm.
Clubs for me was like the game show where they stick you in a cylinder and there's a
You got to
thousand
grab all
dollars
the
in there and you
money.
got a minute to grab all the money.
Uh-huh.
That's what the club was for me,
Mhm.
right? So at 8 o'clock when I come to work, My mindset is, let's how much money can I get? Can I squeeze out of this club in 8 hours?
Mhm.
Right. So if I'm gonna squeeze money out this club in 8 hours, you better be a good DJ. You better learn how to do this. You better watch and see where the opportunities to make money are.
And
You
to
know
read
what I
the
mean?
room, like,
And
around you.
just being able to do that fluidly helps you actually, you might come up with an idea, but it's not ready yet, right?
Mhm,
So it's one of those things where it's two parts of it. The other part is one part is the hustle part,
mhm,
but the other part is that if you are at a job, make yourself invaluable,
mhm,
right? So that mean make yourself invaluable for me was I'm not your DJ. I am your sound guy. I'm your light guy. I'm your flyer guy. I'm your radio spot guy. I'm your television commercial guy. I'm your video editor. I'm your fashion photographer. I'm everything that you would have to pay somebody to do so I can get all the money.
mhm.
I've got 6 streams of
You
income
went to a
just for that.
job, you took over the whole
I
thing.
took over the whole thing, but what it also does is it makes it an easier transition if something catastrophic happens where the club closes down or you get fired because somebody don't like you, you look like somebody's husband or whatever, right?
Mhm,
Your transition to the next thing is easy
mhm,
because all that time you were doing more than you were supposed to do, you were preparing. And that's why I tell people to do when they complain about their jobs. I'm like, go in there, change your mindset, and learn everything.
mhm,
Go to every head of every division, be like, how do I do this? You need some help? What you gonna do? Learn how to do it from everybody. Help people with their work.
mhm.
Figure it out because then when it comes time to get cut, they're not gonna they're not gonna let you go because
You know too
you don't
much.
learned everything.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: you have to stealthily let them see you hustle.
Mhm,
That's the key. You place yourself in front of people, not like, hey, look at me, but oh, what is he doing here today? Hey, it's 11:30. We don't open till 2. Why is he here so early? Let them see you hustle. You see
mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
That means so much to people because they're not seeing it. They're like, wait a minute. I didn't even know wow. Right. So that's why I do that. But then on the other side, you got the hustle. And the hustle is there are people that are lazy out there, so they're gonna try to steal your hustle. And if they steal your hustle, then what you're gonna do because your hustle gets diluted.
Yeah, I know.
If your gets hustle gets diluted, they're looking at you like, ha ha, I got your hustle. And I'm like, good job. You can have that hustle
I got
because
12 over
this is
here.
my this is my next hustle. Catch me if you can.
Uh-huh.
Because I got 10 hustles in the hole because
And that's what it reminds me of, that movie, Catch Me If You Can, is
yeah,
just like, you just keep moving, and
you
you just
have
keep
to.
changing identities, you just keep
You have
changing
to.
and adding to your resume, and
But it's fun because everything changes.
Mhm.
That's what everybody don't understand. Like
Exactly, and you're learning,
as you go
don't
as
just
you go
learn
along.
one thing, you learn everything about that and everything that encompasses it,
Mhm.
so that you're not caught off guard.
Nah, I mean, and then for me, I've watched a lot of people get stuck in doing one thing,
Mhm,
and then they realize it's too late. Then they become old and bitter, and then they
mhm,
never learn anything else because they think it's always too late.
mhm.
And for me, there's not enough time. I know the clock is ticking. I know that there are things out there for me that I haven't even dreamed of yet. I know there are
Mhm.
because I work too hard. Like I don't fear work, right? I love getting up at 4 in the morning.
I
I
love
got I
my
got up 4 o'clock this morning and I started coding. And I've gotten so much done that I feel like you can take it off today. You kind of chill out the rest of the day, but I'm not because I want to finish, right? I want to see if this works, right?
I'm
Because this
one of
could
those
be
people who likes to figure stuff out. I'm also one of
oh my
those
God.
people who when somebody tells me I can't do something,
Oh yeah. That's
I
the
will
worst
get
thing
it
you can
done.
do. That's the
Just I
worst
look
thing.
at them and I'm just like, watch me.
That's the worst thing you could do to me because now I gotta do it
Mhm.
because and it
It's
is
a
not
challenge. It's like,
it's not an
okay,
ego thing or anything. It's not ego, it's not pride.
no.
It's more of you said it, you said that for a reason.
Mhm,
And I've already come up with a solution. So you've just given me another idea.
mhm,
And now I gotta do it because it's a good idea
mhm.
because you told me I couldn't, right?
Exactly.
Everybody tells, well, that might not work. Well, you think you want to do that? Well, now I do. 'Cause you just the way you reacted, my whole brain kicked into overdrive and came up with a solution just like that. Even if I don't know where to start on that solution, it's a solution. I'll work my way back to where I am now. Then I've just built a business plan. All I gotta do is just follow it back up.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm one of those ant people. Like, this is my goal. I
Yep,
need to do this by this time, this by this time, this by this time, and this by this time to get to this goal. And it's like I leave myself a buffer zone for
mhm,
that learning process, like we've been talking about. And so it's like when I try to prepare for like 95% of what happens, so that 5 to 10% really doesn't throw me. And so it's like when you can operate like that, I kind of use my ADD and OCD to my benefit. And
yep.
that's how I do it.
Like, here's another learn how to learn. This coding course, right?
Hmm.
I've been through a couple coding courses, but this one is good. And what I did is I made it a playlist, and when I'm sitting in this chair, that thing is playing 24/7
Hmm.
over and over and over and over again. Then I took it, squashed it, and made it just audio, pieced it all in one big gigantic audio file. And if I'm in the car, I'm listening to it over and over
Hmm.
and over and over again. And because of that, because I've done that, I think I've listened to it about 40 times. And it's about an hour and a half. And that was the key.
Hmm.
That was the key. And just even if I'm not listening, there's gonna be a part that I'm stuck on that's gonna come up that's gonna provide a solution because I'm thinking about it.
Well,
And the
and
key.
you've also kind of layered everything. You have
Mhm.
the foundation of the music, but then you've layered the lights, the audio, the sound. So when you're into the coding, you know how to mash that all up into one audio file, and you can
Exactly,
play. And
exactly. Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
thing with
That's what I'm saying.
your
That's
mind.
that's learn how to learn. It's
Mhm.
like most people would just listen to it and then they'd stop and they come back to it. No, 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 no. It's gotta be playing in several different formats in several different ways. Like I would really got it going. I had a trip. We had a show about 3 hours away. So it's 6 hours driving up and back.
So
I
I'm like
popped
doing
my
my math
headphones.
in my head. So that's 4 times you can listen to it.
Yep. And here's the beauty of it. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna work." And that's when I was like, "You gotta put this all in one file.
Hmm.
Then you won't have to stop and keep pushing to the next. Put it all in one file. So if you're doing a show like this, or if you're on a plane, you can have your headphones on and be listening, but you could do so many other things while you're doing that. You don't
Hmm.
have to really just concentrate on just listening to that program. This is almost like elevator music to you now, right? And
Do it in
elevator
your
music,
sleep.
you don't really think about it till you hear the song that you like,
Hmm.
right? And this kind of how to learn works. It's like you don't hear it till it's something that fills in a hole.
Hmm.
Because most of it I get, but there's those, but it's so intricate and so tricky that there are so many combinations of way things can go. You have to experiment so much to what you want to do. The last couple days has been the breakthrough because now it's like, dude, this is how you do it. And I did it. And now it's like I'm almost done
Hmm.
just completing the whole process of what I want to do. And I got the templates laid out. So now I get to come back and then add a little bit more to each template, then add a little bit more to each template. And then once the template's complete, I never have to do it again. And I'm talking about this is schema JSON LD markup. Like if you ever look at a pie recipe and
Hmm.
you see the stars and all the little extra stuff that's on it, and that stands out on a web page, and everybody doesn't know how to do that. And the people who do that, it's like the laser with the cat.
Hmm.
You're doing that. He can't resist. You
Hmm.
can't resist seeing something pretty in a result that comes back that got their stuff together,
Yeah.
right? So that's what you're going to look at, and you're going to see, whoa, they got this is good. That's the pie recipe you're going to got just compared to the other one, even if it is number one,
Yeah.
right? Because your
Even
eyes are
if it's the
drawn to it.
exact same one, one's gonna stand
Yeah.
out over time.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically an A/B test, right? And
Mhm.
I know how to do that now. I could do that for songs. I could do that for books. I can do that for anything, any
Mhm.
product, any school, any company, anything I want to do it for. I know how to do it. And most people can only do that if they use a plugin. They use Yoast, right? And they're not going to go deep. They might have maybe 10 lines of code,
Mhm.
where I'm gonna have 2, 3,000 lines of code
Right.
because I'm
But
throwing everything I can in it, right? Think about I think I've done probably
you're throwing the whole kit and caboodle at it.
well, because I can, because I have a 30 years of internet,
Mhm.
all the articles. Think about it, probably since I started doing 300 podcasts, all the interviews, all the videos, all the performances, all just everything can be schemed up. And
Mhm.
then when it's shown on a page, you get all the little stars and all the little all the pretty stuff. So now if I want to, if I got a show next week and I really want to blow it up, all I gotta do is mark it up. And now I'm up there with the big boys, Ticketmaster. I'm
Mhm.
up there with everybody, right? Because I know what to do.
Mhm.
So just think, you have a book coming out, you can mark up your book. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Now that book is gonna and it sticks. It
Mhm.
stays forever. So now that book, if it's on a page, the right page, somebody's gonna see it.
Mhm.
And I know that's the hardest thing about doing anything like that on the internet is that you got to be seen. So people want you to spend money on advertising. They want you to do this and they want you to do that. And it's like, I'm not doing that no more because 3/4 of the time the people can't do what I want them to do.
Mhm. But now
And
you know how to do it because you've learned how to learn.
I've learned how to
So
learn.
we're a little over time, but I
Yeah.
want to give you just a few more minutes. First of
Mhm.
all, how can people find you online if they want to get to know more about you?
So here's a lesson for everybody. Always make sure that your social profiles are the same.
Hmm.
For your company, make sure it's the same thing across the board.
Yep.
And for your personal, same thing across the board. DC Glenn ATL is personal. Tag Team Whoop is company.
Hmm.
And you type in anything, DC, Tag Team Whoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Geico, you're gonna find me,
Hmm.
right? And it's because I know SEO. So that's the whole key is to be found,
Hmm.
right? And the only way you can be found is if you do that. And then once you do that, then every time you do an interview or if you do a podcast or if you write something, you do a blog post, you better have those tags there so
Hmm.
other people can share you. So when you see that you've been shared or see that you've been tagged, then all you have to do is dump it up in the stories
Hmm.
because people can't help but look at that big red circle around your face on Instagram.
Uh,
What's he doing? That's all that button is what are they doing? I wonder what they're doing. That's what
what
that
are you
button
doing
does.
now?
Now every platform has that, right? So you got to take advantage of the things that they have for you to not be popular or not to get likes, but to have engagement
Hmm.
to other people who can help you and like-minded people that y'all can come together and come up. And that's I try to preach that to everybody about social media because most people, how many times you get somebody on your side, I hate social media because they don't understand it.
Yeah, I hear it a lot, and I'm just like, but it's okay. You've got like
They're looking at the
like
kids, they're looking at what the
everywhere.
kids do. They're looking at what the kids do and think they gotta do what the kids do when the kids are doing it for attention and they're needy. They're doing it for all the wrong reasons, but that's how they do it. So you can't even be worried about that, but you have the experience. You know that you want people to be engaged and interested in your content because if you can get people engaged and interested in what you do, then you become viable and
Hmm.
people seek you out for your expertise and all the things you've learned how to do. And that's what is happening now is that there's so many opportunities coming my way that I do the best I can just to handle them. And this is not because of it's because of hard work. This was going to happen regardless,
Hmm.
whether it took a little bit longer or it happened a little bit faster. It doesn't even matter. It was going to happen because I'm dedicated.
Hmm.
And Geico doesn't happen if I don't bust my butt. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? All these things don't just fall out of the sky. These things happen because I set myself up and I let people see me hustle.
Hmm.
And they get curious. They're like, I'm interested in his mindset. And I rarely do a music podcast or a music interview. It's
Well,
all
and that's why I had to have you on mine because I'm just like your mind is fascinating. I'm like people need to hear him
yeah,
and
yeah,
you see the and hear the mind behind you know the name DC Glenn. And so
yeah,
like you are more like I said before, you're more than just DC Brain Supreme from Tag Team, you are DC Glenn, like the brain, DC Glenn. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a lot in there. There's a lot of layers.
yeah,
So
yeah. But
that,
that's, hey, bunch of layers make a good lasagna.
there you
Right?
go.
I mean, the
Well,
layers, yes,
DC, you have been an
work.
absolute treat having on. I'm going to give you like 2 more minutes
Mhm.
for anything you would like to add for those listening.
Hey, just don't quit, you
Hmm.
know? Don't quit. It's out there for you.
Hmm.
Everything is out there for you that you want. Just have to figure out how to do it. And the easiest way is to join an organization and pretend like you already got your stuff together and make them pitch you
Hmm.
and once, make them pitch you so hard that they teach you everything that you want to know. So
As my
you
brother
do
says,
that.
make it till you make it.
But that's a much better way to say it though, right?
Yep.
Because by the time you finish the conversation, you're going to be smarter than you were when you started. And if you have 10 conversations in a day, think about what you can do in a month or
Hmm.
what you can do in a year.
Definitely.
You have to be engaged. If you're not engaged and you're just sitting there thinking and daydreaming about what you're going to do, you're going to be sitting there thinking and daydreaming about what you're going to do, and years are going to pass.
And
And then you
somebody
become
else is
old and
going
bitter.
to be doing it.
Hey. So I take every opportunity and I take it to fruition, and I go hard and I see what can happen of it. And if it does, I'm like, I'll leave this one alone, or I'll let it marinate. But at least I did it. So if I do see an opportunity and like, wait a minute, remember when you tried to do that? Do that to this. Now I'm ready.
Hmm.
Now it's
Definitely.
ready. That hustle has been in the oven. Now it's ready. Now I can
There
go
you
get
go.
my money.
Yeah. So, like I said, you have been an absolute treat and joy to talk to. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing more about yourself and
Hey.
helping to like guide people and explaining what learn to learn means and what that process looks like.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for coming on today, sir.
Thank you for having me. I
I'm
appreciate it.
looking forward to seeing you at Comic Conroe
Oh
next
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I have my
week.
camera there.
Awesome.
All right.
And
Take
thank
care.
you guys for listening to The Journey is Real, where we talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. I'm CJ Peterson of cjpetersonwrites.com. Until next time.